I've remarked over the course of the shows this year, this is really the first team under Brad that I have honestly found myself hate watching a lot of the time. It has just been such a frustrating team to watch. More often than not, the inconsistency, and that doesn't fully account for things that have been completely out of their control. COVID issues, injuries. I mean, they've been hit harder than any other team in the NBA. Their core players have been together less than anybody, so they have their, and they wouldn't call them this, these are my words, they have their built-in excuses, certainly, that have played into why they are where they are, which is a 500 team at the bottom of a crowded East with regard to playoff teams anyway, seventh right now after squeaking by the Knicks in what was a good win at the Garden. But bigger picture for you, like, it's easy for me, obviously. Here's what I think of the team. You're closer to the team, not as close as normal here in COVID times, but you're closer to the team. You're there. You're watching intently. Where does this team rank for you just in terms of watchability and your enjoyment as a broadcaster compared to teams in recent years?
Well, it's low. It's like everybody else. We're watching the same thing that you guys are all seeing. I'm saying the same things every night, seemingly. And, it's interesting because we're talking at a really fascinating time, because it's the fact that you could talk about a 2-point home win against a 500 team as being significant. Yet the way that the way the game unfolded on Wednesday night has potential to be significant, because they haven't won really a game like that this year. That was just straight gut check. But I think one of the many frustrating things about this team is evaluating them, because you can say, man, I hate watching this team, to which you could easily on the other side say, which team? What team?
Yeah.
The team Kemba Walker plays on? The team where you didn't have Marcus Smart? The team where Tristan Thompson was out for 3 weeks? The team where now you finally fill the Gordon Hayward spot with a 20-point scorer off the bench, and he goes down in protocol and now is going to be gone for 2 weeks? What team? So the problem is there are legitimate issues there, and you have to try to meld them somehow with all the other stuff that's happening to say, where should this team really be? If they're 500, realistically, through 52 games, how many wins should they have? 30 and 22 is a pretty good record. Is this team, have they been healthy enough to earn that? And I think it starts with the great double standard of last year, which is that people want that again, yet they had no appreciation whatsoever, seemingly. That's when I say people don't appreciate it. It's the loud, the talk show voices, the vocal minority on Twitter, that typed loud. You start with this. I think last year is destined to be one of the most unappreciated Celtic seasons in history. That is the second best team the third best team in the last 30 years. It's the third best Celtic team. 08, 09, and 20 are the three best Celtic teams in the last 30 years. That's how good they were last year, and put together a run in which they not only won all those games and got to the conference finals, they had a chance. One of the things people hated about the 2019, and you certainly can't say it about this team, is that they were in every game. They had a run from February up until the last game of the conference finals where they literally had a chance to win every single game. All the metrics, the offensive rating, the defensive rating, the scoring margin, everything you could come up with. This was an elite team, and they were the third best team out of 30 in the NBA. But for people around here, that wasn't good enough. And so at some point, you shrug your shoulder. Like, you lost Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, Terry Rozier, Marcus Morris. You got Kemba Walker, who was healthy for part of the year. That's what you got in exchange for that. And you got significantly better. And again, with the third best team out of 30, that's not good enough. Okay. Well, I'm glad your kids constantly get A's. And I'm sorry if they don't, I feel bad for them when they come home with an A- or a B+. It's probably an unpleasant place to be. But I think we've lost sight of that. And you and I have had this conversation before about when you have a high for 20 years, like Boston has had, it's hard to get excited about the conference finals. My first year with the Celtics, that team hadn't been in the playoffs in 7 years. They go to game 6 of the conference finals, and you remember they wanted to have a parade for that team. 2 years earlier, they literally had a parade for a player who won a championship on another team. That's what was going on in Boston in 2000. Yeah. Ray Bork had a big party and a parade or whatever it was, because he won the Stanley Cup with another team. That was the mindset.
Especially with what we've seen the last 20 years, it remains one of Boston's most embarrassing sports moments.
So, or not, or it was a time capsule. right? It was that moment in time. Nobody said in 2000, there was probably one crazy guy on the street. You know, those people that talk to themselves. There's probably one crazy guy wandering up and down the street with a big shawl in 2000 saying, in the next 20 years, the Red Sox are going to win 4 World Series. The Patriots are going to win 6 Super Bowls. And the Celtics and Bruins are going to win the championship. And everyone, listen to that crazy. My God, that's the craziest guy I ever heard.